Hey guys, just like that, welcome back to the Fox 5 Live Zone on, yes, a feel-good Friday. Man, does it feel good to say that. Coming up on the show today, I can tell you two folks who perhaps don't feel good. In one corner, President Trump. In the other, Elon Musk. At issue, that one big beautiful bill. The two now clashing heads. We're going to break it all down for you. Speaking of clashing heads, man, another drama day filled with plenty of drama for your mamas, they say, up in the courtroom in New York City. Talking about the P. Diddy sex crimes trial. We'll get a report from outside of the courthouse. And then, you see this right here? Yeah, my smile. Yeah, well, apparently I can fake it and so can you. But now there's a way to identify it. We're going to chit-chat about that with our Friday talkers. But first, how about we talk weather, shall we? Caesar joining us right here on the Fox 5 Live Zone to do just that. Happy Friday, my friend.
Happy Friday, Guy. I'm hoping everyone can smile about the fact that we're finally more summer-like, you know, finally seeing all the temperatures back into the 80s. It's been so long since we've seen a lot of that warmer weather, but we'll take it.
Yeah, it's hot.
It
I was
is.
sweating walking from the metro here earlier today.
So yes, then you understand already. Warm, humid. That's what we're dealing with. So let's take a look at today. That's where we're dealing with temperatures still well in towards the 80s for us at the moment. Going into the 80s with that humidity. So it's going to feel warm out there. And when you pair that warmth with the humidity, you get some rain chances. So that's what we end up dealing with as we head in towards the afternoon and evening hours. So if you're heading out to Nats Park to go see them take on the Rangers at 6:45 today for first pitch, well, make sure to hold on to maybe a poncho, something of that sort, because we could see a few rain showers, especially around that 6 to 7 o'clock hour. That's when we could very much see some of the rain then. Dries out pretty quickly as we head into the overnight hours. Temperatures stay very warm, though. You saw that by about 9 p.m., 75 degrees still. We drop down to about 70 as we head into the overnight here for Washington, D.C. A few areas like Gaithersburg, even Fredericksburg, still pretty mild. Then as we look at tomorrow, lots of festivities to go about. Of course, you have the golf tournament, you have World Pride, and just the baseball series as well. Temperatures are going to be quite warm out there, mostly in those upper 70s, low to mid 80s still hanging with us, but that comes with the caveat of some rain showers. So as we look at Futurecast, you'll notice rain showers are possible throughout parts of Friday evening, right? Then as we head into the overnight hours, starting to see some rain showers to start off Saturday a little bit on the soggier side. Dries out as we head into the afternoon for some spottier showers still going on. And then going into Sunday, that's where we could see rain showers still making their way in, becoming a little bit more widespread as we head in towards the afternoon hours. Luckily, the second half of the day is going to be on the drier side of things. So not a complete washout, but that cold front that slides through on Saturday is going to help bring temperatures down just a tad bit back into the 70s, but it is going to come with those rain showers, so certainly something to keep in mind. You'll notice the temperature trend going from the mid to even low 80s to the upper 70s, so not a dramatic drop-off, but we rebound quickly as we head in towards the new work week. Temperatures back in towards those 80s. And we actually do dry on out as we start off the new work week with Monday, seeing mostly sunny skies. Also, again, drier is the key thing for that day. Then Tuesday, we do have the chance for a few pop-up showers still possible, maybe a few rumblers as well. So again, we're in summertime. We start to see a lot of that humid air making its way back in. All you just need is a little bit of that warmth to really start getting some of those rain showers popping up once more. So not really too out of the normal. Then as we head in towards Wednesday and Thursday, another stretch of temperatures back into the 80s, slowly clearing on out, especially as we head in towards Thursday, where mostly sunny skies are returning for us. So certainly going to be a fantastic week, especially in the temperature department, where we're sitting well in towards those 80s, Guy. It's going to seem very great out there. I'm excited to finally be able to get out there and use my pool. You know, it's been a while. It opened up Memorial Day weekend, and you couldn't really use it.
Yeah, I'm that bah humbug guy. I never go to my pool. I always go to someone else's.
You go to someone else's. I feel like it's more fun when you get to go to somebody else's, because they treat you to at least maybe a drink, some snacks, things like that, that you don't have to do for others.
And I don't have to be on my best behavior. Caesar with all things weather joining us right here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. Truly appreciate you, my friend. Guys, if you haven't already done so, make sure you download the Fox Local app. You see it right there on your screen. Take out your phone, click on that QR code, and you, my friend, are good to go. All right, let's get to the big story of the day. In this case, it's the battle between President Trump and Elon Musk. Their fallout playing out for the whole world to see. Now, Musk, once a close Trump ally, now one of the president's biggest critics just days after stepping away from Doge. The feud began after Elon slammed the president's so-called big, beautiful bill, warning that it would include tax and spending cuts and spike the deficit by an estimated $2.4 trillion over the next decade. Musk has used his social media platform X to drum up opposition against the bill, but, well, let's just say things took an even sharper turn after Elon claimed that Trump is in, quote, the Epstein files. Musk added that this is the real reason they have not been made public as yet. Trump then took to his own platform, Truth Social, suggesting that Elon is retaliating against him after the president took away his EV mandate, which forced everyone to buy electrical vehicles. The public spat, well, it's ripping through the halls of Congress, where Republican leaders are trying to pass the president's key piece of legislation with little support now. The Senate taking up the big, beautiful bill as we speak. A version already passed the House. Joining us now to discuss this and so much more is Madeline Somerville, Democratic strategist, speechwriter, and political advisor right here on the Live Zone. Good to see you, Madeline. Happy Friday.
Good to see you too, Guy. Thanks for having me.
All right, let me take a breath here. Whew, that was a lot to discuss, and I got to tell you, we have a lot to get to. In this case, we're talking all things Elon Musk and President Trump. What are you making of this? I have never seen anything of the like.
It's pretty crazy, right? It's pretty astonishing. And I heard one newscaster say something like, I don't like when mom and dad are fighting, which actually feels pretty accurate here. So we've heard a lot of back and forth. Here's what I think is actually going on. I think that Elon Musk is a big advocate of regulating AI, and ethics, and keeping it in check. And I think that the people who are in the White House that are involved in big tech, that are not in Elon Musk's camp, are not as concerned about it. In fact, in the big, beautiful bill, and it's a reason why some Republicans like Marjorie Taylor Greene from my state has actually come out against this bill, is because it keeps the states from regulating AI on their own. And I think that that's what this falling out is all about.
So nasty things were said. We have accusations of Trump being in the Epstein files. This morning, we know that President Trump took to, yet again, his social media platform and stated that, hey, you know that red Tesla that Elon Musk gave me? Get out of here. He's kicking it away, or kicking it to the curb, as we like to say. Yet again, the war of words continues, Madeline.
I know, and honestly, I usually tell people, if you want to be your own political analyst, assume that every communication that you hear that comes out of the White House or from an agent of the White House is directed at you, right? Because messaging is everything in politics. And so I usually take everything with a grain of salt. I don't usually put that much. Sorry, yes.
No, I didn't say anything. I'm listening.
Oh, I'm sorry. Just a little problem with the Zoom. I usually take it with a grain of salt. But here, I think that there's actually something deeper behind it, and that's why there's this big war of words and so much contention there. Although I did think it was funny that President Trump said something like, yeah, you know, when people leave, they just get so sad. They miss being here, and then they retaliate, and I feel bad for that. And I was like, okay, all right. Thanks a lot.
I saw that as well, and I think we could all make light of it. But there's some serious stuff going on here. And what do I mean by that? Well, we know that Elon threatened that SpaceX will decommission Dragon spacecraft. This is a big deal. I want folks to understand that this is in essence a security threat because, well, it really gets the astronauts back and forth to the International Space Station. We're talking about lives in jeopardy, are we not?
Yeah, and that sort of undermines the original argument that I had, which is that I think that Elon Musk cares about the future of AI, because I think in that respect, it would be like, I care about people, right? I care that people are not taken advantage of. And in this case, right, it's like, if you care about people, then why don't you continue making sure that we have the spacecraft that we need in order to protect the astronauts and the people who go into outer space? I don't like that it's getting into that sort of realm to where it's like, okay, I'm willing to sacrifice this and sacrifice that in order to make my point, right? Because you want it to be about the American people, and you don't want it to be about them as people. That's the really frustrating part about this, because we as the American people should not be the ones who lose in this fight.
Yeah, well, that's what's at issue yet again. In this case, we know that Elon Musk had access to sensitive information. What if in his rage he says, you know what, that all that information that I have, I'm going to give it to the U.S. adversaries? What say you about that?
Well, that is a terrifying proposition. I would hope that after spending so much time working for the American people, that Elon Musk wouldn't want to subject us to that. But you actually bring up a really interesting point in terms of personal surveillance and collecting our personal information. So actually the lady Amy Gleason, who is the acting director of Doge while Elon Musk is gone, she is known for being really good at streamlining personal data. She actually got an award from President Obama in 2015 for doing something like that helped with rural healthcare. Now she's running Doge, and the reason why, right, is because they're trying to streamline our data. So I think you actually bring up a larger issue that people really need to start looking into.
All right, so Madeline, let's say you and I have a beef. Let's just keep it in-house. We're not going to air our dirty laundry, and this is why. Apparently, Russia now stating that they will offer political asylum to Elon Musk. In essence, yes, they're making fun of it all, but yet again, America now has egg on its face, does it not?
Yeah, so this is the kind of thing that makes me think that this is a joke, right? That makes me think that this is just political theater, because it's like, okay, now Russia's jumping in. What business do you have in this conversation? It does make it silly, but make no mistake. Whenever somebody brings their voice up, when another country makes an entrance, they make it for a reason. So I would actually look out to see or to hear Russia getting more involved in this spat.
Yeah, I got to tell you, yet again, this is, I've said this about the Diddy trial, now I'm saying this about this, and it's made for a movie. I have never seen anything of the like. To think the two most powerful men, arguably on the planet, are going back and forth, tit for tat. It's something that, well, I guess hopefully at some point they'll both get along. We'll have to continue to follow that throughout the day. And by the way, should something happen on the Live Zone or during our time in the next hour, in let's say 50 minutes, we'll make sure we bring it to you live. Let's switch over to the Federal Reserve Chairman, in this case, Mr. Jerome Powell. Apparently Trump, well, not playing nice with him as well. He's a little upset for him not lowering interest rates after solid May jobs report. Now, that new report, by the way, found that the economy added some 139,000 jobs in the month of May. What are you thinking about this?
So a little history lesson for the viewers. So let's take this back to Carter and Reagan. So when President Carter was president, Nixon and Carter. So when President Nixon was in the White House, he asked the chairman of the Federal Reserve to lower interest rates. And he did. He listened to him, and it really tanked the economy. We went into a recession, and we lost jobs, we lost wages. What ended up happening in Carter's presidency was they ended up using the Federal Reserve to bring those mortgage and interest rates back up because the economy needed to recover. So we have a history in the United States of presidents asking the chairman of the Federal Reserve to do something that they think is going to make them a popular president. And it's the presidents who are willing to be unpopular that are willing to listen to the economists and say, okay, I'm going to do what's better for the American people in the long run, rather than just making me popular by lowering the interest rates and making people think that I'm the reason. And indeed, he would be the reason why, but that doesn't mean it's going to be the best for the American people.
Yeah, yet again, I think this is more reason for me to have to keep a close eye on Truth Social today, because after having such a bad day yesterday with that whole beef with Elon Musk, you just heard me make mention that, you know, the May jobs report found that some 139,000 jobs were added in the month of May. You would think that the president would hop on Truth Social and say, hey guys, look, great news, and it happened because of me.
You would think so, but I do know that in the jobs report from March and from April, they had to do some backtracking. So it's normal for them to have to do that because they're collecting the data so quickly, but it looked like there was something like 100,000 jobs that were added that actually weren't. So my guess is the reason why President Trump didn't do that is because he's holding off for as long as he can until it's accurate, although he hasn't been stopped from claiming things that were a little bit inflated in the past.
All right, Madeline, well, next up, we're talking about the judge halting Trump's attempt to block international students from Harvard University. The temporary restraining order issued late last night by the judge comes hours after the university urged that judge to step in on an emergency basis to block a proclamation Trump signed a day earlier that suspends international visas. What are you thinking about this?
So this one's really tough because I see the messaging around it. And as somebody who specializes in political communications and messaging, I see that there's sort of a coordinated effort here. And I can't say, because I haven't done immense amount of research on the Chinese Communist Party, but I know that that's why he's been working on this, right? The complaint is that there are students at Harvard who are spying on us, right? And then we just heard the FBI released information back from 2024 that was something about students who were trying to spy for the Communist Party in smuggling something across state lines. So I think that there's really a coordinated effort here to make this case to the American people, to get the American people behind it. But I am certain that for the students who are here now, that there's a lot of constitutional challenges that President Trump is going to face. And I would caution the American people to, whether you support what the judges are going to say or not, to make your own judgments and decisions about it by doing your own research.
I got to tell you, Madeline, it is an interesting time in the world of politics. It just ceases to amaze me. Yeah, I think we both did. Truly appreciate you joining us as we discuss all things politics right here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. Make it a great weekend.
You too. Thanks, Guy. Have fun at the pool.
Will do. Well, my next guest is crying foul and urging Congress to support the Block the Bombs Act. This legislation seeks to halt the transfer of specific offensive weapons from the U.S. to Israel, ensuring accountability under U.S. and international law. Among one of the biggest supporters, well, it's this gentleman, Mr. Ahmed Abouznaid. He's the executive director of the U.S. Campaign for Palestinian Rights Action and joins us right here on the Live Zone. Sir, did I pronounce your name correctly?
Great, Guy. Thank you for having me.
Good stuff. Well, so I'm curious, what's been the response thus far with regard to your campaign to block the Bombs Act?
Well, what we've seen over the last couple of years is this is an incredibly popular position that a majority of Americans agree with. I think Americans are concerned with the rising costs, with inflation, with Medicaid, with Medicare, with healthcare, with education overall. These are the things that Americans would actually like invested in. And so what we've seen over the last couple of years is not only because this doesn't benefit Americans, but from a moral and ethical position, Americans don't want to see American-made bombs going to bomb and massacre innocent men, women, and children. People are being starved at this moment. There are ICC arrest warrants for the people carrying out this war. So the majority of Americans want nothing to do with it. It stands against every single one of the values that we believe in as Americans, and that needs to end right now.
What's your response to the head of the Red Cross stating that the Gaza Strip right now is literally, quote, hell on earth?
I mean, we knew this was coming. We knew this was coming under the Biden administration, and we know that this is happening now under the Trump administration. The reality is, with unchecked violence, unchecked genocide, this was the inevitability. People that have been bombed, every single hospital bombed, every university bombed, the food centers bombed and shot at. This was the inevitable result, that we would be on the brink of famine, starvation, and this is what genocide looks like live streamed to our telephones.
You know, we're sitting here, and obviously we have seen those pictures, and they are something that truly pulls at the heartstrings. We've also seen a number of hate crimes take place within our country as well, specifically surrounding anti-Semitism. And I'm curious, your take on all of that, because I would assume, obviously, there's two sides to a coin, right? But to hate one another and or to attack someone based upon hate, you wouldn't concur with that, would you?
Yeah, Guy, I would say that to hold Jews accountable for the atrocities of the Israeli government is unacceptable. And similarly, I think to present these questions to Palestinians at this moment, when all we're trying to do is say, let's stop the bombs, let's block the bombs, let's actually stop the killing of men, women, and children, I think it's a racist avenue to approach the Palestinians with. All we're saying is, let's stop the violence. Let's stop the supply of an endless amount of weapons that are actually massacring men, women, and children right now. And I believe that's a message that a majority of Americans, you and everyone else, should agree with, Guy.
And sir, folks that want to get more involved with your cause, how would one go about to do so?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Guy. USCPR.org, notmytaxdollars.org, and USCPR Action are the orgs that you want to reach out to and the websites you want to reach out to learn more. There is room for you in this movement. We can have a better America for all of us. We can have a better world for all of us if we stop the bombs.
Well said. All right, sir. Thank you so much for joining us on the Fox 5 Live Zone. Make it a great day.
Thanks, Guy.
All right, guys, we'll take our first break. On the flip side of that break, you know those tariffs that are currently in place? How is it affecting alcohol and or the distribution of alcohol? We're going to speak with the owner of a champagne brand next, right here on the Live Zone. All right, guys, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. Did you know that in 2024, American consumers imported, get this, nearly 27 million bottles of champagne, making the U.S. the world's largest champagne export market? Well, shipments to the U.S. for many, let's say, owners, well, it's now becoming an issue of the norm, and that is getting those shipments to the U.S. By now, some are questioning whether they can continue to depend on the U.S. with regard to champagne. Why? Well, you could blame it on the tariffs. Uncertainty about future trade policies has really shaken the long-standing relationship between French champagne producers and American buyers. That happens to be the case for my next guest. I'm referring to Miss Marvina Robinson. She's the first African-American woman to own a champagne brand, and she's the founder and CEO of the champagne brand dubbed Bethesda. And she's kind enough to join us right here on the Live Zone. Ma'am, truly a pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for the invite.
I want to make sure I'm pronouncing this correctly, because I have been going over this and over this again. Actually, my producer was helping me out. How do I correctly pronounce the name of the champagne?
You did pronounce it correctly. It's Bethesda champagne.
Okay, very good. This has gotten real for you. And what I mean by that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but over the past couple of weeks or so, you have had to pay a tariff, if you will, surrounding the import of your champagne.
That is correct. It's something new for us, something I didn't want to have to, but we paid our first tariff bill about 2.5 weeks ago, and we have an upcoming tariff coming up in another 2 weeks.
Wow. And so I have to be honest, you are the first person that I have met live on air or in person, if you will, with regard to actually dealing with a tariff. What is that process for you? How did you know? At what point did you acknowledge that you would actually have to pay this?
Well, I've been following the whole tariff situation from Liberation Day, from the first threat of 200% on any imports coming in from Europe. I think that naturally piqued everybody's ears. Anybody who's importing anything from Europe, specifically wine, champagne, I think that was a big impact for everybody. You know, once that threat came through, the main questions came about is how am I going to sustain? You know, what's the next process if we did get hit with a 200% tariff? Then everything was following the news on a daily basis as different announcements came out, and then on Liberation Day, the 20% tariff was announced, and then it was temporarily suspended to 10%. And from there, you just have to keep watching on a daily basis because, you know, tariffs is like a roller coaster.
Yeah, it's like playing bingo. You have a bingo card in front of you. However, in this case, it
Exactly.
surrounds tariffs. Have you passed that cost on to your consumers as yet?
I have not. So I have not. I have decided not to pass the cost on to my consumers as yet because there's nothing permanent, right? Everything is changing. So I don't want to have a roller coaster with my prices. So I'm really waiting to see what's going to be the final say, and then from there, I will. Unfortunately, I will have to pass some sort of an increase to my clients. I have kept a full communication with all of my clients to let them know that we are dealing with tariffs. We haven't implemented a increase as yet, but there might be a small increase in the future.
Marvina, I can tell you it's a Friday, so when I leave here, I'm probably going to go have a dinner and hopefully buy a bottle of your champagne, have a nice glass of champagne. What I'm getting at is that I can plan ahead. I know exactly what I'm going to do. How in the heck do you operate a business not knowing what's going to happen the next day?
It's very hard, and especially as a small business, you want to do your quarterly planning. You want to think about some of your clients, some of the clients that I have lost, some of the clients I have to gain new clients. I have to be strategic in thinking, how do I break into different markets outside of the US so that if the tariffs get a little bit too crazy, I'm just not sidetracked to only be focused in the US. And those are conversations I've already started.
All right, so with regard to the actual tariffs itself, as a result, you had to, import more shipments of the champagne?
Well, what I do is I pride myself on having freshly quarterly disgorgements. And unfortunately, due to with the tariffs, this is now June, what I've done is I've kind of speeding up my imports. Normally, I've already completed my quarterly import. I get ready for holiday. But what I'm starting to do is bring in holiday now so that in case anything changes towards the middle of the year, like I say in like September, October, I already have like 75% of my holiday shipment here.
As I introed you, I stated that you are the first American black woman to own a champagne brand, and I think that needs to be acknowledged, and I wish this conversation would surround that, all your accomplishments. But unfortunately, we're talking about tariffs and what you're having to deal with. Your colleagues, your peers, what are they saying?
Everybody's asking the same questions, like, what are you doing? What do you have planned? Do you plan to lower your price? Lower your inventory, increase your prices? When do you give the increase to? Those are questions that's always asked, and I give them the same questions. I'm watching the news with you day by day, and based on what I might have planned for my business, whether it's like something here in our tasting room, whether with our clients, I'm planning now. Customers that do gifting with us towards the end of the year, I've reached out to them to, ask them what their gifting needs are going to be. And also circling around to new customers, new clients, just being creative. This is a time where you have to be creative with your business strategic planning.
Yeah, one of the things that you made mention of earlier, speaking of being creative, happens to be you sent a notice to your customers. I thought about that, and let's say, I don't know, my cell phone, and let's say I have a Samsung and there's an issue with it. I don't necessarily know if I were to get an email from Samsung saying, hey, this is what's going on. And so I'm curious, what was the response from your customers when you sent them that notice?
We didn't have any negative feedback. My clients, our customers have been loyal to us. When we first launched, it was our customers that have helped us spread the word of B-Stuyvesant. So they understand what's going on. Naturally, nobody, like myself, I don't even want to pay for higher prices for certain things. I know what it is. But unfortunately, from a business perspective, a lot of my clients are savvy and they understand. We got positive feedback. Well, we're here. I just came back from an event in Texas, and I had one of my first customers say, I've been buying you since 2020, and this is the only champagne I carry in my house. With or with tariffs, I will only be buying your champagne. So it's feedback like that that makes me feel good. And I understand, with the consumers, some might have the price shock if we do have to increase, but it's part of today's economy.
All right. And with that, you were so kind enough to come on the show today. I got about 30 seconds left. And so with that time, I'm hoping you could tell us what's so different about your champagne versus all the others.
Well, I would say that there was true love put into this, right? So I named the brand after the neighborhood I was born and raised, B-Stuyvesant. It's been, it's where I come from. Two, it's more about like the tasting profiles. It's more about our freshly disgorgement. We just don't produce the mass produce and have the bottles sitting on shelves. We're here to answer questions. Our social media, our questions, we do pairing notes. So people understand, what they drink and how to pair. I believe if we sip it, we should learn about it. So I try to add educational components to it on our website, through our our newsletters that go out. So I'm very hands-on with our customers, with our vineyard. And if I'm here in our tasting room, wherever I meet somebody, I'm very detailed. I'm always open to, answer questions about champagne. So that's what makes me different from other brands, not saying anything negative about anybody else, but for me, I like to be as hands-on and educate as much as I can.
Well, in this case, you now have a new student, and that's me.
Ooh.
Yet again, we have been speaking with Marvina Robinson. Truly appreciate you coming on the Fox 5 Live Zone. Thank you so much for taking time out. You're welcome.
Thank you again.
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break. Hey, on the flip side of that break, more drama within the courtroom of Sean Diddy Combs' sex trial. We're going to get the latest next, right here on the Live Zone.
Thank you, Kristen. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Hello, good afternoon, Miss Miles. How are you today? Yes, thank you. Very dollar. All right, yes, same to you. Enjoy your weekend. See you on Monday. I said I'll see you on Monday. But let me give you a hug. Give me some. Ah, yes. Yes. Let me get all of that good energy. All right, blessings. Yes, ma'am. Look, Miss Miles. No, look, I already told them, Miss Miles.
That's not good up with the oil.
She got it straight right. Look, Miss Miles. Look, Miss Miles, I told them, I said, you are my sister in my head. Connected. That's right. That's cool. That's right. Run it back. Have a good day. Thank you. They're so cool. They're so cool. I like stuff.
Even though I know all of them, even though I know some of y'all are Diddy supporters, I just wanted
I'm not a voter. I don't see it.
for everybody.
If I get it right, I get it right. If I don't, I don't. This is new. This is new.
All right, guys, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. Now the latest on the Sean Diddy Combs sex trial. Diddy's former girlfriend, who goes by the name of Jane, is back on the stand today. She described the drug-fueled sex parties called hotel nights that took place during their relationship, saying she felt pressured to have sex with other men. She also broke down in sobs as she recalled going to spend time alone with Combs afterward. I can tell you we've had cameras set up outside of the courthouse all day long. We have one now, and our reporter outside it looks like she's trying to set up that camera as I speak. I'm referring to none other than Mackenzie Joy Brennan. She is a trial attorney and federal litigation attorney, legal analyst, and I should also add, a culture expert. And she joins us right here on the Live Zone. Mackenzie, I can see the shot. I can't see you. Can you hear me? All right, that's one of the things that happens when we're doing a live shot outside of the courthouse. You can see that she's setting up. Just a minute ago, as we were waiting for her to set up, I can tell you it appears as though that the jury and or the court took somewhat of a break. We know that it is 12:30, and so perhaps they have gone to lunch to grab a bite. One of the other things I can make mention of is that just like here in Washington, D.C., it is quite warm in New York City right now. And did a check a second ago. I believe it's about 84 degrees or so. And so that's it appears, I think that's Jay, and that's her assistant that you see in the shot right there as he is getting ready to bring Mackenzie on. Hey, Jay, can you hear me? All right. Well, that's the beauty of trying to do something live outside of the courthouse. Here's what we'll do. I want to make sure we get Mackenzie. So let's take a 2-minute break. When we come back, I want to tell you about the amazing and, well, quite honestly, disturbing testimony that took place on the stand today with regard to Jane. She is Diddy's ex-girlfriend. You'll hear about that and more coming up next, right here on the Live Zone.
You better sit, especially for a black woman. All right, see you later, man. I don't want that chocolate down my head. Yeah, he's such a positive. I don't want that chocolate.
This stuff, eh? Almost there. Almost there. Almost there. You could already move there. I gotta stand for When are you gonna start moving? I'm not. Here's the guy.
No, it's the guy that was
Fastest rising channel in America. And I'm on everybody's channel. I'm on every news station. Y'all look for me on Chicago NBC. I'm on French. Tomorrow. Shout out. Hollywood Crossing. Shoot them. Get that dog. And all of the other things that they say in the French. Look for me tomorrow on AFP in the French. Parlez-vous français? Goodbye, guy. Bienvenue. You know what it is? I had to mix up the little prayer with the French.
All right, guys, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. Yet again, it is now 12:35. You are taking a live look outside of the courtroom where the Sean P. Diddy Combs sex crimes trial is currently underway. We have a court reporter there. I see her looking into the camera, so I don't know if she actually hears me. I'm referring to Mackenzie, and we're going to try to get to her in just a minute. But as we do that, and as they set up their camera there, I want to tell you a little bit about what took place on the stand today. In this case, I'm making reference to Jane. Now, who is she? She happens to be Diddy's former girlfriend. While on the stand, I got to tell you, it's just some disturbing and shocking testimony. She claimed at one point that she had sex, not with one, but with two men. She also claims that immediately therefollowing that she went into the bathroom and she felt sick and as a result began to throw up. She stated that at that very moment, Diddy then entered the bathroom and stated, "Hey, you probably feel better now because you threw up. Let's get back to it." And at that point, she had sex yet again with a third man. Joining us now to discuss all of this and so much more, Mackenzie, right here on the Live Zone. Of course, Mackenzie Brennan. Can you hear me, Mackenzie?
I can. Thank you
all
so
right,
much.
there we go. Glad we got you. So I got to tell you, I wasn't sure if you just heard what I made mention of, but I was talking about the testimony that Jane, and Jane is Diddy's former girlfriend. She's using that name, if you will, during this trial. My heartstrings, I got to tell you, they were pulled. I was really upset. And why? Because yet again, she stated, and if it's true, dear God, that she had sex with two men. She went into the bathroom, threw up. Diddy allegedly came into the bathroom, said, "Hey," rubbed her back, "Hey, you feel better? Let's get back to it." And then had her have sex yet again with a third man. Is that what actually took place today?
Yeah, it's been really disturbing testimony. She is the final witness that the prosecution is going to call, so it's apt that they're trying to end with a bang. But it really is, it's upsetting testimony, especially when we learn that this happened up to last year, that some of these incidences were in October of 2023. And, you know, she testified that she wasn't allowed to use protection. She wasn't allowed to be involved in picking who these partners were. And like you were saying, you know, she's getting physically ill. She's falling apart. She's on more drugs than she can handle part of the time. And then his comforting of her is essentially like, "All right, champ, get back out there." It's really upsetting. I'm glad that her identity is being better protected than Mia's was at the time, but who knows? It's been a pretty aggressive atmosphere around the court.
Yeah. Well, Mackenzie, she also stated that she sent him a text message, and this was actually shown, saying, "I don't want to play this role in your life. It's, quote, dark and sleazy." We also know that according to her testimony that Diddy was paying her rent to the tune of $10,000 per month. And as a result, she felt somewhat obligated in order to carry out these acts.
Absolutely. And I mean, that's going to go into this whole coercion and force element of sex trafficking, that essentially she was being held by either compensation or life consequences, and both of those are hit here. That, you know, he actually said that he would not pay her rent if she didn't cooperate in the freak offs. And I believe she testified that 90% of their sexual interactions were with escorts, that it wasn't actually with Diddy. And she wanted to be with Diddy, but what he required to keep paying her rent to stay in the relationship was for her to be in these freak offs, sometimes for 3 days at a time.
All right, and perhaps you just touched on this, Mackenzie, but yet again, and I'll say it as far as I'm concerned, sleazeball material. You know, I mean, this is just horrible. But what does this have to do with finding him guilty on all these counts?
So a lot of pieces are going to come into play. You have the sex trafficking, which for the federal charge requires coercion, force, control, and that doesn't always have to be physical force. So in that statute, it allows things like financial control, psychological control, which obviously would happen through sleep deprivation, through drugs, sometimes without her consent. She said that drugs were always introduced at parties, but sometimes she didn't know what they were, didn't know that she was being dosed. So that's a huge piece of the sex trafficking. It also plays into the RICO charges because you have an enterprise that's getting these drugs that is moving across borders. So that brings in the federal element. And you have multiple escorts being hired. So it hits both of those charges in one witness. And to boot, it's pretty emotional. So I think a pretty strong witness for the prosecution to end with. We'll see how the defense cross goes. Hopefully it's not as aggressive as some of the others have been, but you know, the defense is going to do what they're going to do.
Yeah, and when that happens, I'm sure you'll have yet again another update for us right here on the Live Zone. We've been speaking with Mackenzie Joy Brennan, trial attorney outside of the courthouse where the Sean Diddy Combs sex crimes trial is currently underway. It's 84 degrees there, Mackenzie. Go inside and get some AC. Stay cool.
Boy, I know it.
All
Thank you so much, Guy.
You got it. All right, guys, we'll take a quick break. On the flip side of that break, producer Chris joins us. The sizzling topics coming up next right here on the Live Zone. All right, guys, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone on a Feel Good Friday. Producer Chris joining us with some of the sizzling topics.
Yeah, usually on Fridays I come here and I talk about movies. We did that yesterday, though, so I needed something new. So I'm going to talk about music today because, believe it or not, and I can hardly believe these words are coming out of my mouth, we are already talking about the songs of the summer.
Oh, wow.
Songs of the summer. It's a yearly tradition. We always try to guess what may be the song of the summer. We've got some early potential contenders, and we got new music overnight from the one and only Mariah Carey.
Oh, wow.
Take a listen.
They don't know the meaning of water nor soap. I don't have time for the rigmarole. Taking off my coat, clearing my throat. Certified diamonds like the songs I wrote. Look at my wrist, check out the light show. Can you handle this? I don't know.
That's Mariah Carey?
That's Mariah Carey.
Huh.
This is what is likely the first single from her new album, MC16, that she's been promoting. This is Type Dangerous. According to certified lamb Marissa Mitchell, her possible boyfriend slash singer Anderson .Paak is producing this album.
So the drum beat, I hear it now.
You hear a little bit of there. You also heard a lot of shade in those lyrics. 3 hating, bleep. That second word is a euphemism for maybe. I'll just say this: there's a garden tool that shares a name with the word she dropped there.
I got it. All
if
right.
you catch my drift. Now, I will say, Mariah Carey, a legend.
Yeah.
Absolute legend. I can also say, with 100% certainty, that is the first song I've ever heard that worked the word rigmarole into the lyrics. So kudos to you, Mariah
that's
Carey.
funny.
Okay, so that's one potential contender, okay? Next up, we have new music from Sabrina Carpenter. Take a listen.
Okay.
So that is the new single, Man Child. And she says it's about who you think it's about.
Oh, really? Wow.
So possibly, according to her fans, they think that is a shot at her ex, Barry Keoghan, the actor who you know from just about everything these days. However, the lyrics seemingly point to some frustration with men in her life, maybe not just one. She posted a long message about how the song came to be and why she had so much fun recording it. She also thanked all the men out there who gave her plenty of ammunition for it.
Yeah.
You can check it out now. The video's out now as well. Sabrina Carpenter had a huge summer last year with her hit song, Espresso. So maybe she's hoping that lightning will strike twice.
It's hard to do.
And she'll end up with anher song of the summer. A little country-fied, it sounded
I liked
to
it.
me. Now, Billboard does an official 2025 song of every year they've been doing it recently, but the 2025 songs of the summer, they track what's charting and what could be the song of the summer. The #1 contender right now is a song by Alex Warren. It is the song Ordinary. That's the video you're looking at right now. So that's the one to beat right now. The person who could maybe do it that aren't Mariah Carey and Sabrina Carpenter, Morgan Wallen.
Oh, wow.
Okay, he has a song, not one, not two, but the next 3 songs in a row on Billboard's 2025 Songs of the Summer charts
really?
right now because he has a new album out. The single you're looking at right now, this is his song, What I Want with Tate McRae.
Yeah.
Now, I will also say, much like Sabrina Carpenter trying to recreate the magic of last summer in Espresso, Morgan Wallen has had a few good summers in a row.
Yes.
2 years ago, he was #1 with Last Night. Last year, he and Post Malone were a close second, third maybe, with I Had Some Help. The real #1 song of last summer, no confusion whatsoever, Shaboozey.
Oh, yeah, hands down.
Tipsy, a bar song.
Yeah.
Not only #1 song of the summer, also record-setting with something like 19 straight weeks at #1 on the Billboard chart. So it's still very early. Let me just say that. It is only the first week of June, but history has shown us that usually the Song of the Summer is already out by April.
Wow.
So there
Okay.
may be a song out there that we just don't know yet
Yeah.
will be the future Song of the Summer, because remember last year, Not Like Us dropped.
That's true.
Sometime around now.
That's true, yeah.
And was obviously a cultural phenomenon.
Yeah. We're
No
still
one
playing
saw
that
that
at the radio
coming.
station.
No one saw that beef coming.
Yeah.
And so that song kind of came out of nowhere. So anything can still happen. The field is wide open, but there are some of your early contenders for 2025 Song of the Summer. We will revisit this come
please
Labor
do.
Day weekend.
Yeah.
You know that we will. And we will crown a champion.
I'll say this though, and that Mariah Carey song, I don't know about that. I mean, it sounded a little.
I'm going to peek around the corner real quick. Okay.
It
you're
sounded
safe.
like
You're in a safe spot.
Didn't
Marissa
it
Mitchell
sound
is
like
not
Jennifer
here.
Lopez?
It sounded, yes.
It
To
didn't.
me,
I didn't hear her vocals.
Her vocals
thought-
are Mariah Carey
That's what
is
she's known
for the voice, and she makes reference to it in those lyrics. But
You were looking for Marissa Mitchell?
I was looking around the corner just to see if we were about to get jumped before we said any I mean, not even any shade whatsoever.
In all
She
fairness,
is-
I got to listen to it in its
Well,
entirety.
yes,
but,
exactly.
All right,
So,
producer.
and we'll see how the whole album plays out.
Okay.
too. This is just the first type dangerous.
Don't come for me, guys. Yeah, I mean, I can tell a lot of Mariah Carey
No
fans are like,
rigmarole
what?
here.
Producer Chris with all things sizzling right here on the Live Zone. Truly appreciate
Thank
you,
you.
my friend. All right, guys, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. All right, guys, welcome back to the Fox 5 Live Zone. They call it the American Dream. That means I'm talking about home ownership. And if you've yet to own a home, guess what? This weekend, you can get one step closer to doing just that. That's because this Saturday, Home Ownership Preservation and Education, better known as HOPE, will host their annual Home Ownership Fair. You see it right there on your TV screen. It takes place tomorrow, 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. at the Hillcrest Heights Community Center. That's in the heart of Temple Hills, Maryland. Joining us to discuss this and so much more is Donna Hurley. She's the CEO of HOPE, and my guy, my man 50 Grand, DJ Flex from WPGC 95.5. Hey guys, welcome to the show.
Hello.
I got to tell you, I am all smiles about this. Why? Because you all are giving back in a major way and making sure that, well, folks like little old me can have a piece of that American dream, and that is home ownership. Donna, we'll start with you. I'm sorry, Shauna. We'll start with you. And that is, I want to make sure that folks understand the importance of home ownership. I remember a buddy of mine said, Guy, all I want to do at some point in this lifetime is just own a home. And because of what you and your organization are doing, ma'am, you're going to be able to make that a reality for him.
Yes. This This is our 4th year doing this. A lot of people, what we're finding out, don't know that they actually can own a home. They've been renting for years, and there's so many opportunities out there for them to own a home. And we want to make sure that those clients, those people know that they can be exposed to other alternatives to own a home, because that is a way for you to build generational wealth for your grandkids, the great grandkids. So yes.
Well, speaking of that, I'm thinking about my man that I have right there sitting right next to you, and that's DJ Flex. Early on in my career, I had the opportunity to get some mentorship, and I got it from that guy. Guess where I got it at? His home. And so when that happened, I said, you know what? When I grow up, I want to be just like him. Flex, you have been doing this for quite some time, and I know this is near and dear to your heart, but for those that, let's say, crawling from under a rock and saying, why would DJ Flex care about home ownership? What would you say, sir?
Home ownership is freedom, bro. I mean, freedom, you know what I mean? Being able to have something that's yours and also builds equity. You count, you know what I'm saying? Man, my credit, I'm good. I can do things that I couldn't do when I was renting, and it's nothing like owning your own. You know what I mean? This is mine. I can do whatever I want in my house. It's my house. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, and then why would I want to continuously pay all this money over and over and over again to somebody else, and I have nothing to show for it? You know what I mean? Now, I understand there's times where you got to rent. It just is what it is. But I had to get to that time where I wanted to be a home owner. And let me tell you something. Going to this fair, I went last year, I was blown away about all the services, because home ownership can be intimidating because you're thinking, man, you got to give up. You just don't know. I didn't know when I was getting into home ownership that I could even do it. But I did find out that it is possible, and it's such a wonderful thing. And let me tell you, tomorrow afternoon, this is the place to be, because they got everybody there. And if it's anything that you need to get into a house, they got somebody there that can help you out. Yeah. And that's what I'm talking about. Information is key.
Yeah, that's why it's so key that folks show up and show out, as we like to say. By the way, for me, it's walking around in my birthday suit. That's what I love doing at home. But that's for another day. With regard to what you all have going on tomorrow, Shauna, I want you to talk about, what am I going to be surrounded by? When I walk through those doors, who will approach me? What will I see? How can I look over to this way and say, you know what? I got to see this guy or gal, and I can get help from him or her?
We have many major banks that are going to be there talking about their programs with down payment assistance and closing costs. We're going to have PG County, different resources within the county. We're going to even have Mary Kay there to do facials, as well as employ PG for those that might be seeking jobs or trying to increase their income. So we got like a lot of things there for everybody, you know, just so they know that we're there to support them and to get into a home.
Yeah, but you all come bearing gifts as well. Some would look at it as an incentive, but I look at it as you say, you know what, we're going to make sure that you do this and do it in a major way, and that is you're offering perhaps a chance to have $500 down toward a down payment.
Exactly. With our home ownership fair, we always, of course, I mean, you know, people, it's a Saturday. You're giving up your time. What's in it for me? I don't like that. So we are offering a chance through one of our partners, the Greater Washington Regional Clean Coalition, to provide a $500 down payment to someone that is going to own a home. We also offer a drawing for a laptop, as well as some other smaller prizes, but a small prize is still a big prize to me, especially when I don't already have it. So we're going to have something for everybody. Like I said, we will have the Lions Club there. We will also have free shredding. So those that have all those papers or need to get yourself organized, we will have free shred on site. So you want to get there early so you can get in line to get those papers shredded.
But I guess we should reiterate, you're going to have a big star there yet again, and that is that guy sitting right next to you, the one and only DJ Flex.
Yes, DJ Flex, we love him.
Which is just so cool.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, brother. Last year when I went to this event and they found out, my family found out it was a shredder out there, they was like, look, where do I get to this? How do I got? And I had so many people that wanted to come to the event for the shredding, but I had people that came for the shredding and stayed for the event and were blown away with all the resources that was right there, and it was free. It was they walked in and got what they needed. So yes, come get them papers shredded, especially with the scammers out here. You gotta hit the Bama, the scammer with the Bama, whatever it is, right? The Bama is the scammer, and he trying to get your paperwork. So you don't want that. You need to get it shredded. And the shredding truck, let that be the bait. It's gonna be out there. It's absolutely free. And then come inside and see these services because it's real.
Yeah, which, by the way, free happens to be my favorite F-letter word, and so we would encourage you to show up and show out in a major way. We're calling it the Home Ownership Fair. It's the annual one at that, taking place tomorrow, 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. at Hillcrest Heights Community Center in Temple Hills, Maryland. Real quick, a website folks can log on to get more information?
They can actually contact our office at 301-567-3330, or they can go to Eventbrite and look for Hope's 4th Annual Home Ownership Fair, or they can also email us at hope@hopefinancial.org.
Absolutely love it. Thank you so much for giving back, both of you all. You're doing an amazing thing. And yet again, shout out going out to WPGC as well for really making it happen. Truly appreciate you guys.
Shauna will be on the show today at 2:40. Shauna will be on WPGC at 2:40 talking about it too.
No doubt.
Tune into the home team show, my man.
Plan to. All right, guys. How cool is that? We'll take a quick break and be right back. All right, guys, welcome back to the Fox 5 Live Zone. So it is now June, and typically in June, what happens? Graduations galore. Woohoo! It's a party in a major way. In this case, it's going to be a party for the next 1, 2, 3 days.
Yes, sir.
Why is that? Well, that's because the graduation ceremony of Intrepid Hope University is currently underway in a major way. I like saying that. It kind of rhymes a little bit. Of course, this would not happen without the amazing woman that's sitting right next to me, and I'm referring to none other than the president and founder of the university, Dr. YLAWNDA Peebles. You just got to drop the mic when you say that. Good to see you.
Well, let me do it.
As you should.
Thank you for having me, honestly.
No, but of course, what you are doing is truly amazing. I love that you're giving back in a major way. I love that you're changing lives.
Thank
you. You were really doing that. How does that feel?
All stealing, right?
Yeah.
And I think my greatest gift, I always tell my students, there are things money cannot buy. And what that cannot buy is the inherent joy in a person. So like freedom really does exist. I have these conversations with my children who are all highly educated. And they say, Mom, does joy really exist? And it does. And joy sometimes has to exist in trauma.
Yeah.
But that's what the university teaches people, how to discover the joy even in trauma seasons.
Oh, gosh. Can you drop the mic again?
Okay.
Because Because with that being said, we are truly in some dire times, if you will. I mean, there are a lot of folks that are waking up dealing with whatever it may be.
Sure.
And they're looking for that light at the end of the tunnel.
Sure.
At what point did you decide, you know what, I want to help you find that light?
Ooh, that's such a good question. So, of course, myself, if you live on this earth, you'll have trauma.
Sure.
Let's just be honest about it, right? And we can classify those, but nonetheless, traumas are what they are. And what we tend to do humanistically is we just move on because we feel like we have no other choice, right? You have to take care of the children and you have to go to work. However, the trauma rests there.
Yeah.
And then that's why people are so frustrated and so angry and make decisions based off emotion, right? And so out of my places of pain and the introspective work that I did to walk into this place of living and not existing, I wanted to make sure I gave that to other people.
Wow. What's the response? I love asking that because the proof is in the pudding. Now,
Thank
obviously, you made it happen, but it's the folks that are going to walk across that stage that are going to
Yes.
look at you at some point and say, oh my gosh, because of you, this happened.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you this. There's so many great testimonies from these students. But I have one student who, when she registered for the university, she was decades of addicted to drugs and alcohol.
Huh.
And within the first semester, she gave it up.
Wow.
And to this day, she's been clean. And Sunday blessed me so much because her sister found me, and her sister said, the sister that's in my university was standing with her other sister, and she says, Dr. Peebles, I need to sign up for your university because I want you to do for me what you did for my sister. And that's when I knew it worked. The program worked because she could see the results of this work that she had done, right? So I have 2 doctorate degrees. I have children with doctors, lawyers, accountants, but the thing of it is this university is so uniquely different, nothing of its kind in the world, because there has to be an academic formation to the program.
Sure.
But it's inherently about this deep-seated introspective work. And I told the students from day one, if you participate in it, I would take you to a place you never thought you could go. So we have and I'll tell you this last thing, we have a student who, one of my oldest students in her 70s.
Oh, wow.
Who had been molested by her brother. When the family found out the brother was sent away, she was then molested by the father.
Oh, gosh.
And the first time in her life, 70-some years old, this program has allowed her to give a voice to her pain, which is part of the process. And then we give you tools to process that pain. And the third thing is I give you wings to fly free. And now you take those tools and use them in your life. Because if you're a person, and I speak ambiguously, that gets frustrated quickly, that tells me there's a place of work to do. If you're angered quickly, there's some hole in the soul that we can work on to get you to a place of freedom, and that's just what it is. That does not preclude us from feeling frustrated or angry. We now get the tools to deal with it because we dealt with the pain, which was the source of that reaction.
One of the things that your students that have gone on to graduate and do amazing things say is that after leaving the program, they have clarity and courage.
Yes.
I absolutely love it.
Don't you love those words?
Yeah. Well, mainly because they start with C's. They're easy to say. I'm still working on my ABCs around here. But I love that, and because that is so hard, yet again, to have in this day and age. Clarity, yeah, I mean, just look at the world we live in. Courage, I could argue I'm still struggling with that. And so to know that one can actually move forward, can have a better understanding with regard to what it takes in order to have both of those speaks volumes to your program, ma'am.
Thank you. And thank you for saying that, because men shy away, males shy away from the program. I had a couple men start out, they didn't finish. And I think they feel like it's too, I don't know the right word. I think they're afraid to dig that deep. They're afraid. And I have so many people say, Dr. Peebles, I'm just not ready.
Yeah.
So here's my question. So are you ready to continue existing and not living? Are you ready to continue being in that pain and not being free? So you do the work, but the freedom is unmeasurable. Does that make
Oh,
sense?
yeah, it definitely does.
Yeah.
And yet again, that's why we have to congratulate you on the success
Thank
of
you.
this amazing program, Intrepid Hope University. Before we go, I really want to shout out the other amazing thing that you're doing, and that is you are the executive producer for the stage play Sisters at the City of Praise. How
Well,
cool
my
is this?
husband and I.
Okay,
Because I'm not going to leave out my 32-year marriage. I like him and I love him.
You'll get home and he'll say, baby, we got to have a talk.
Right. Exactly.
But congratulations with regard to that.
Thank you. Can I tell you about it
Yeah,
quickly?
please do.
So, my husband and I went to New York, took a couple friends with us, and one of the theatrical plays we went to see was Sisters. I sat on the front row, mesmerized at how depicted the African American family. And that made me proud. They tapped into our historical content out disparaging who we are as a people. So I whispered to my husband, I said, I have an idea. And he's like, oh no. And I said, I want to bring this whole play to our church. And he was like, really? I was like, okay, sorry, really?
Right.
And I said, and so when the play was over, a beautiful Caucasian woman took to the stage, and she was the producer of the play. And I was like, I'm confused, because the way she captured our true culture blessed me. So I sought to follow her. And I said, hey, I have this little teeny church in Maryland, just little small 10,000-seater church.
Yeah,
No
that's
big
little,
deal.
all right.
And I want to bring you, your cast, your set, all the way to our church. And I don't think she believed me till I called her the next morning, and we had lunch.
Wow.
And I brought the entire cast to the state of Maryland.
Wow.
For the play, and we've maintained a relationship. So then we started having conversations about, hey, why don't we co-produce?
Yeah.
And so now you don't have to go to New York. You can see it right here in the state of Maryland.
That is truly awesome. And yet again, that's taking place this weekend,
This
correct?
weekend on Sunday.
Oh gosh, how cool is that? You are so busy, ma'am. When do you take time? That's what everyone asks me. When do you sleep? That's the question
We
for
don't.
you.
You see these bags?
Oh, get out of
We
here.
don't. I don't sleep.
Yet again, we have been speaking with none other than Dr. Yolanda Peebles, president and founder of, yes, Intrepid Hope University. Congratulations, continued success to you. Thank you so much for changing lives.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
So grateful.
All right, guys, we'll take a quick break. This is the Fox 5 Live Zone. All right, guys, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. So it's time for a celebration. In this case, 40 years in the making. Did you hear? Later today, the Washington Conservatory of Music will celebrate 40 years of musical excellence. It's dubbed a legacy of harmony and inspiration in the community. Now, the milestone event brings together faculty, staff, students, and distinguished guests for an unforgettable evening of performances in celebration. Joining us now to discuss this and so much more is Mr. Andrew M. Lee, the Executive Director right here on the Live Zone. Good to see you, my man, and welcome to the show.
So excited to be with you and so excited about tonight's event. We're so excited to celebrate 40
I gotta
years.
tell you, I'm excited as well. Look, I'm talking over you because I can feel the excitement. One of the cool things, I wish we had a behind the scenes camera because I've been watching you for the last 2 minutes or so. And yes, I know you're doing an interview, but you're preparing for tonight. So you are moving around, you're walking about. It was just so cool. I feel as if I happen to be there as well. For folks that are caring about this for the first time, first of all, shame on you for hearing about it just now. But
shame on you.
Outside of that, we're talking 40 years in the making, and you, sir, happen to be at the helm right now. How cool is that?
It's actually remarkable. The Washington Conservatory of Music is a nationally accredited, one of only 17 in the country, community music school. And we go into communities and we teach kids about instruments and adults of all ages. We have master classes and all kinds of programs in DC public schools and in Montgomery County, spreading our love and the joy of music with those that may not have access to it. And tonight's a celebration. Here at American University, we're so excited to celebrate 40 years. There's been generations of students, parent, grandparent, and the student or child that have studied here. We have a campus at Glen Echo Park. We have a location in Kensington, and we're looking to expand, but we definitely need the community support. And it's really to tell those stories of impact, those stories of how we know music has changed the lives of young people. And in a time where, we're more divided than ever. And it's a lot going on in the region. And we know that music is something that can bring us together and something that continues to heal.
You just made mention of young people, and I think that's one of the things that really separates you all from any and everyone else, and that is a part of the mission, if you will, is to pair that young person with the right person. When I heard that, it so much shocked me, and I said, wow, how cool is that? Meaning your focus is on that young person to make sure you all get it right.
That's right. I mean, we have an incredible faculty. They're also, many of them have gone to leading conservatories, performed all over the world, and Kennedy Center, Carnegie Hall, Lincoln Center, you name it. And we really take that time to really understand the student and their needs and their goals musically. But we're not just preparing students to excel in music. We're preparing them to excel in life. We're teaching them the discipline, executive functioning, the skills that they're going to need to be able to move and adapt in a very changing world. And we know that with technology and AI and all these things, attention and being able to focus is something that's really challenging for some students. But we know studying an instrument is one of the biggest ways to expand your brain, to build a new community, to make a new friend. It's just really powerful. We're really excited to celebrate that tonight.
Yeah, I concur with that wholeheartedly. Taking me back in my years, 6th grade, I played the trumpet, and I did so for 3 years. And I wish I continued to do so, but obviously I started.
Well, next time you got to join us. I mean, what makes tonight special is we have.
You don't want me messing it up, sir.
You never know. You never know. I mean, I'm sure you could still pull out a couple notes. So,
but with that being said, I want you to talk about inspiration because, first of all, just to do this, you have to be somewhat creative, and then you have to know that folks are going to hear your work and/or art. And as a result, you have to be inspired. Can you speak to that?
Absolutely. Well, I'm a musician. I play piano and violin. I started several other orchestras in the DC area and other organizations, and really have a heart for the community and for students, and know that performing on stage and being able to perform in that act of studying an instrument it will change you and will change the audience. And it's more of what we need now. We need people to step up to the plate and say, enough is enough. We don't want these cuts of arts programs and music programs in our schools and community centers. And we know the impact that they have, that it needs to be accessible to everyone. And that's something I'm so excited about here at the Conservatory, that we have new support, new foundations, new folks getting on board and partnering with us to make sure that music remains accessible in the capital region.
And so with that being said, let's end with this. Set the stage, if you will, the scene with regard to what we will see tonight. Yet again, when I step foot inside the Katz Arts Center at American University.
I think you're going to be blown away. If you haven't gotten a ticket, there's still time. You're going to hear inspiring performances by young students. We have jazz, classical music, opera, something for everyone here. You're going to hear young students who are just performing for maybe the first time, all the way up to people that are on tour with area and local orchestras and national orchestras. So it's really going to be a wonderful evening, a chanting evening, an evening of community and supporting the arts, and really making sure that we continue to make music accessible during these really difficult times.
You just said that tickets are still available, so let's sell some tickets, sir. Folks that want to do so, what website should they log on to?
Absolutely. WashingtonConservatory.org. Tickets are still available. You can also purchase them at the door. We have a rate of tickets depending. We have a VIP reception starting at 6 p.m. with an open bar. Really excited about that for those that like the open bar. And the concert will begin at 7, and we'll have a post-concert reception with all sorts of activities and artists and photo booths and all of that at 8:30. So come on out to the Katzen Arts Center. We'd be happy to see you, and we're so excited to celebrate 40 years of impacting the community in this region.
Congratulations. Yet again, we've been speaking with Mr. Andrew Lee. He is the executive director and kind enough to join us right here on the Live Zone. Enjoy yourself tonight, sir. It's well deserved.
I'm going to try. Thanks so much. We'll see you at Katzen.
Good stuff. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. All right, guys, just like that, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. Well, if you take a peek at the calendar, you'll quickly realize, oh my gosh, it's almost here. Talking about Father's Day. Although that's celebrated on one day, families attempting to navigate some of life's most difficult challenges, from divorce and co-parenting to emotional resilience and fatherhood, well, that happens on a daily basis. That's where my next guest comes into play. I'm referring to Dr. Daniel Malloy. He's also a family consultant, author, and former federal executive based right here in the D.C. area. Dr. Malloy, good to see you, sir, and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Guy, for having me. We're very excited to be here.
We're excited as well. I want to say, because you have just recently released the new book, When the Relationship is Over. It provides a guide for parents, especially fathers, on how to remain present, purposeful, and emotionally stable for their children during and after separation. Dr. Malloy, I got to tell you, you hit the nail right on the head with this one.
Thank you. And, you know, in 2014, I was hit with the challenge of a failed relationship where my children were taken away across country. And I had an opportunity to either fight or stay there to either, you know, be a co-parent or a parent from a long distance. I decided to fight. And in 2015, I was able to get my children back. And, you know, my son right now is in Ivy League school playing a little football. And my daughter is at Flint Hill High School here, and she's doing really well. So the message to a lot of these guys that are, especially with Father's Day right around the corner, I want to speak to the heart of every man who is questioning if he's enough. Your presence more matters more than your perfection. So that is the biggest lesson that I've learned, and I've tried to allow everyone that I've come in contact with to be able to get that message, to understand that as a father, your presence really matters.
Yeah. You know what? It's sad that we have to have this conversation. Wouldn't you agree? Shouldn't that just be a given?
Yes, sir. We believe that strong fathers are the anchors of strong communities and strong families, and that strength doesn't just come from being flawless; it comes from being faithful to that role. So, by reclaiming fatherhood as a position of leadership, not just a position of liability, it's not about control; it's about connection, accountability, and love. So, in too many communities, fathers are seen as optional or broken. I'm here to say that fatherhood is sacred, and it's time that we treat it that way.
One of the things you focus on is the emotional power of presence over perfection. I'm going to say that again. The emotional power of presence over perfection. How did you come up with that?
Well, a lot of times people think that you, as a father, that you need to be a superhero. You don't need to be a superhero. They need you, flaws, fears, and all. And we try to help fathers lead with that way. I run a program as well that mentors a lot of single parents, as well as kids that grow up without a dad. And in that program, we've successfully had over 76 Division I athletes graduate from that program. We not only teach them about athletics, but we also teach them about what it is to be present, as well as what it is to be a good role model for others in the community. Right now, I have about 34 individuals that are playing Division I football that came from our program. You may know Shamari Jones, one his kid came through our program as well. He's at University of Michigan and doing very well. So one of the things that we try to do is to not only mentor by being present, but mentor emotionally and showing these kids how to be present emotionally as well.
Yeah, I got to tell you, Shamari's a good guy and a great dad at that, and truly proud
Absolutely.
of what both he and his son have been able to do. We'll end with this, and that is, you have stated, and I would have to concur, and that is, when families thrive, most of the time, if not all of the time, it's when fathers are aligned and are accountable.
Yes, sir. And this isn't just about, when we're talking about Father's Day and just fathers in general, it's just not about celebrating dads. It's about activating them. Fatherhood isn't just about a day, it's a decision every single day. So if anybody needs any help, you feel free to reach out to us at www.malloysfamilyconsulting.com. And I'm very, very happy to try to help as many people as possible.
Yet again, the name of the book, When the Relationship is Over. I got to tell you, I'm going to plan to pick this up over the weekend. I'm not a father as yet, but hey, it's a good read. I could already tell. And yet again, we have been speaking with the author, Dr. Daniel Malloy. Truly appreciate you coming on the show, and thank you for sharing those wise words with us, sir.
Thank you so much, Guy. You have a good weekend.
All right, guys. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. This is the Fox 5 Live Zone. All right, guys, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone on a Feel Good Friday, and I'm feeling even better because, hey, my friend is back. Looky here. Asia from Magic 102.3 joining us right here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. Good to see you, my friend.
Hey, 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 how are you?
I got to tell you, I always love seeing you, especially on a Feel Good Friday. You do amazing things. What are you working on, Asia, before we do our Friday talkers?
Let's see, all week I've been at the Diddy trial. That's a whole other conversation in and of itself. Monday, heading to LA for the BET Awards. Wednesday, heading to Miami for the American Black Film Festival. Back for the Cross, because I need to go check that out, in New York to see 2 days of the Diddy trial, and then trying to get ready for my community day. So a lot going on this month.
Can we, instead of calling you Asia, can I just call you a jet setter? Because that's all you're doing. You're all over the world, my friend.
I'm living in my suitcase right now. Absolutely.
Well, it sounds like
How
you're
are
living
you?
your best life as well. I'm good. I'm going to be even better when we wrap up with these Friday talkers, because I got to tell you, some of these are going to make you say, what? Let's start off with the first
Okay.
one. In this case, we're talking about bad mornings. Now, Asia, I know that you get up early from time to time. I get up early a lot as well. And the question is, are we bad at it? What do I mean by that? Well, apparently, according to a newly released study, a lot of Americans have issues getting up in the morning. They have what we call the struggle. Yeah, the struggle is real. In this case, we know that an average of 4 to 5 people will hit the snooze button 8 to 5 times a day. Not only that, but, well, when it comes to skipping things as a result of waking up late, a lot of folks, 41% saying, you know what, I'll skip breakfast. 16% say, I'll skip taking a shower. And 11% say, you know what, I'm not going to even brush my teeth so that I can get to my, well, less destination sooner than later. What say you about all of this, Asia?
I say a lot of funky people were in the survey. Showers and brushing your teeth, absolutely not. I am definitely a person that will hit that alarm clock like 2, 3, 4, 5 times. But I set it early enough so that I have that. You know, you're supposed to know yourself by now, at least, right? So I know even in like high school, it took a lot for me to get up. So I'll set it an hour early so that I can have that one extra hour to make myself roll out of bed. But I'm out of the survey of 2000, I'm definitely 2001. It takes a lot for me to get up in the morning.
Yeah, you know what? It's the same for me. I get up so early. I have 8 alarms that go off, and by the 7th one, you know, I'm getting up, and that's the one closest to the time that I really, really need to get up. With regard to skipping that whole hygiene thing, who does that, Asia? You know, yes, I'm going to take a shower. Yes, I'm going to brush my teeth. I don't care how late I am. To your point, you can't walk out the house funky.
I will brush my teeth in the car. You got me twisted. I am not going out anywhere without proper hygiene.
Yeah, not only that, but you can't show up at the Diddy trial smelling a certain type of way. That's not going to happen.
The stinky lady in the second row. Yeah.
Hey, let's move on to this. Speaking of stinky, I kind of find this somewhat stinky. In this case, there's a new fishy trend taking over the summer. But experts say, hey, before you get turned off, it could be good for your health. It's being dubbed a sardine summer. You heard a hot girl summer? That's gone out the window. In this case, it involves apparel and products that feature the smelly fish. Now, so far this month, Asia, Google says searches for sardine accessories have jumped by 300% since last year. But health professionals say people should also find a way to incorporate sardines into their diets. That's because sardines are loaded with protein and nutrients and have less concern for, let's say, mercury exposure than other fish. Are you all about the sardine summer, Asia?
I'm just really amazed at this story. The first thing I thought of was the smell. Why can you smell this story? You can actually smell it, right? And then the second thing I thought of was the heat from the summer. And I'm like, hot fish? No. Who wants to wear sardines on their like earrings and t-shirts? I'm trying to figure this out. Like maybe it's the same people that were surveyed for not taking a shower and brushing their teeth. I can't.
Well, that's a different kind of fishy smell, I would argue. But in this case, you know what? I actually happen to be a fan of sardines. I've always been. You know, you put a little mayo, Miracle Whip, whatever you like. You know, a little relish for me. It's a great sandwich. You know, I kind of grew up on this stuff. But yeah, to your point, you're not going to see me show up here on Monday in a sardine suit. You know, with sardines right here.
I'm
not
gonna
going to
get you a
happen.
sardine tie. I got to get you a sardine tie now. Listen, my father loves them with mustard and hot sauce on club crackers. That's his
wow.
like go-to thing. And I think that sardines actually do taste good, but once you open that can and that first initial smell comes out, you just like you don't want it. But then it does taste pretty good. My father's a country boy, so I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I'm not wearing sardine clothing.
Yeah, I can see you next week just showing up with the sardine earrings. By the way, with regard to the whole sardine thing, we did a segment recently on things not to eat at work. I would venture to say sardines happens to be one of them. Nobody wants to smell that for the next 2 or 3 hours, sitting at a desk next to you.
The top 3, I'm sure.
All right, Asia, we're going to finish up with this. And you see this? I'm all smiles. Why? Because you joined me today right here for our Friday Talkers. But apparently there's a new way in which you can spot a fake smile. Oh, I'm really loving this because I'm telling you so many people fake it. In this case, according to a newly released study, the most telling muscle is obviously the muscle that tightens around the eyes. I didn't happen to know that. Apparently, when you really smile, well, that's what happens. Not only that, but, well, a fake smile, on the other hand, usually involves only the mouth muscles. And so let's see if we can practice this, Asia. Like, I guess, like, it has to be here and here, like the little crow's feet. But I'm kind of faking it now, so I don't know. I don't think this is working. What are you thinking?
I don't know. I'm always smiling. You know, I love life, so I gotta be in a real bad place not to smile. So I don't know if I could fake it. Like, but you can tell when people are kind of giving you that like shade, that like, like I don't really want. I think it's a body read more so than me looking at their facial lines. But I could just feel that negative fake energy, if you will.
No, I'm with you on that. I tend to, to your point, my whole body kind of shakes a little bit. I was just thinking about that. It was like a ha, 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 kind of like, you know, a little dance. And so it's just so much fun. You know, with a smile usually comes a laugh, and it usually comes feel-good things. So I love to smile and I love to laugh.
Yes, exactly. We just got to keep the negative Nancys out of the way. You know, the people that have the fake smiles. We will smile back at you, but our smiles are going to be real.
Well, I got to tell you, when it comes to Asia from Magic 102.3, there's nothing fake about it at all. We truly love having you here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. We call it our Friday Talkers. Folks that want to get a chance to check you out on social media, Asia, how would one go about to do so?
Please follow me at Always Ask Asia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Again, that's Always Ask Asia. And check me out on Magic 102.3 and 92.7. I'm hanging out with you weekends on Magic.
Absolutely love it. Truly appreciate you. Make it a great weekend.
Mwah.
All right, guys, we'll take a quick break. This is the Fox 5 Live Zone. All right, guys, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. So let's talk about the Fountain of Youth, shall we? Well, all right, I guess it really doesn't exist. However, for women, it sort of does. In this case, I'm making reference to coffee. Take a look at this. Drinking coffee daily may be tied to healthy aging in women. That according to a new study presented at the American Society for Nutrition. Researchers used a large sample size and 30 years of follow-up to assess several different aspects of longevity and healthy aging. Now, the study found after 3 decades, there were 3,706 women who met the definition of a healthy age. It consists of living to the age of 70 and or older. Joining us now to discuss this and so much more is Nadia Popovich. She is a nutritionist, women's health expert, fitness coach, and health wellness expert, joining us right here on the Live Zone. And I think I got to get the name correct. Is it Popova? Did I pronounce it correctly?
Yes, Popova.
Okay,
You're almost.
Well, thank you. I've been practicing for the last 5 minutes, and yet again, I still got it wrong. So it seems like I need more practice. I am so glad you're here. This is just so cool. You know, I got to tell you, I am the biggest coffee fan there happens to be. But in this case, it pertains nothing to me at all. This is all about the ladies in thinking that, well, if you happen to drink coffee, you can live a lot longer.
Absolutely. And we all love coffee. And it's not just even about that pick me up really effect, but apparently it actually has so much more benefits that not that many people are aware. And specifically for women, I found that a lot of women would tell me, well, coffee makes me jittery or coffee makes me anxious. And so the recommendation is certainly to make sure you don't drink more than 3 cups a day. Ideally, we want to stay somewhere between 1 to 3 cups per day with organic black coffee. And it's all about really balancing it out with movement, hydration, and just overall lifestyle, including sleeping, how many hours and what you sleep and how active you are. Certainly should create much more benefits if we combine it with the coffee, as coffee is linked to helping to speed up the metabolism, burn fat, and really so much more mental clarity, including clean energy where you feel energized, you feel motivated, and you feel like you want to move mountains. You're just energized to keep that day going and staying healthy.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Obviously, this is focusing on the ladies and women, but you made mention of perhaps not having more than 3 cups of coffee per day. And I got to tell you, at one point, I was doing maybe 4 or 5 cups of coffee. I remember I went to the doctor and he said, "Hey, Guy, do you work out a lot?" I said, not as much. "Hey, Guy, do you drink alcohol?" "Yeah, I do." "Hey, Guy, do you smoke cigars?" "Yeah, when I'm playing golf." "How many cups of coffee do you have?" I said 4 or 5. He said, "Cut that out immediately. That's what your issue is." I had no idea. And so it's interesting how, this could be very good for you, but I guess it's all with moderation, as they say yet again, when it comes to drinking coffee. One of the things that the study also found is that women who actually drank coffee, to your point yet again, no more than 3 cups per day, well, they don't typically deal with, let's say, chronic diseases. They have good mental health, exhibiting no cognitive impairment, and showing no memory loss, I should say. So yet again, all positive things. And I guess Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts are smiling from ear to ear right now because a lot of women are going to flood their stores looking for coffee.
Yes, certainly. It's also important to add that avoiding any artificial flavors such as, I don't know, sugar-free hazelnut, all these artificial flavors would sometimes affect our overall health just because chemicals. So we're so overwhelmed with everyday chemical attack on us because chemicals are pretty much everywhere. So if we would just understand that the actual benefit of coffee is to just have black coffee. If we want to add a little bit of a sweetener, it's okay to add a little bit of honey or stevia. I'm a big fan of stevia because honey still has that effect of white sugar, that's meaning it still elevates our sugar level. And with the honey, we need to be a little bit more careful. If anything, part of the day. But stevia, organic stevia, is excellent an alternative to that. And if we want to add any creamer, my recommendation is to go with dairy-free organic creamer, maybe made out of coconut milk or almond milk.
Yeah.
But really, black coffee is the best. On empty stomach in the morning is great if you're fasting, if you are a fan of intermittent fasting, and later in the day to avoid really negative side effects of black coffee. Better to eat it, better to drink it after the food, so not on the empty stomach, and no later than like if I ever drink coffee after 3 p.m., I make sure I drink my last cup before 4, so 4:15, 4:30, that's it. Because I'm pretty
Otherwise, you're going to be
sensitive.
like me up all night. That's the toughest.
Yes.
Hey, I
Yes.
got about 2 minutes left, and I want to make sure we allow you to shine as well. And that is, yet again, you are a nutritionist, women's health and fitness coach, and health wellness expert. So many titles, and you do so many good things. And so, for folks that are seeking your services, what is a typical day with you like? I mean, someone picks up the phone, they call you, they say, "Hey, I need your help." What service do you provide to help them?
That's a great question. Well, I do have a lot of different responsibilities, including coaching women. But I'm a wellness expert with 12 years experience. I'm Ukrainian as well, and I moved to this amazing country almost 13 years ago with my daughter. And so now coaching women and really helping the community to stay healthy, we really expand now, and we provide different type of services, and so including personal training services where we come to our clients. We're located in quite a few locations. It's all displayed on our website. And so we also provide services online, like remote coaching, because a lot of times people do seek that knowledge just to really understand the basic of nutrition and healthy eating. So it's that black and white mentality. Well, people think now if I need to get healthy, I have to eat only broccoli, right? And I have to be in the gym 5 to 6 times a week, which is not the case. In fact, we want to eat 3 meals a day, and we want to make sure we hit all 3 macronutrients, proteins, carbohydrates, and healthy fats, and training somewhere between 3 to 4 times a week, and just staying consistent with this process, because it's really an identity of being healthy, not just on January when we all falling into
those resolutions, right?
Exactly.
By the way, Nadia, I got to tell you, I happen to be a fan of broccoli, so anyone that speaks bad of it or ill of it,
okay,
not
so
cool
that
with
is
me.
in your case.
We gotta leave it there. But folks that want to find out more information about you, the website one can log on to.
wellnessresourcesgroupincorporate.com. And my Instagram is Coach Nadia Popova _ after every word, Coach _ Nadia _ Popova.
Yes, we've been speaking yet again with Nadia Popova. Did I get it right this time?
Yes, you did.
High
You
five going
probably
out to
had
me.
some coffee.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Live Zone. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. Caesar joining us right here on the Fox 5 Live Zone to do just that. Happy Friday, my friend.
Happy Friday, Guy. I'm hoping everyone can smile about the fact that we're finally more summer-like. You know, finally seeing all the temperatures back into the 80s. It's been so long since we've seen a lot of that warmer weather, but we'll take it.
Yeah, it's hot.
It
I
definitely
was
is.
sweating walking from the metro here earlier today.
So yes, then you understand already. Warm, humid. That's what we're dealing with. So let's take a look at today. That's where we're dealing with temperatures still well in towards the 80s for us at the moment. Going into the 80s with that humidity. So it's going to feel warm out there. And when you pair that warmth with the humidity, you get some rain chances. So that's what we end up dealing with as we head in towards the afternoon and evening hours. So if you're heading out to Nats Park to go see them take on the Rangers at 6:45 today for first pitch, well, make sure to hold on to maybe a poncho, something of that sort, because we could see a few rain showers, especially around that 6 to 7 o'clock hour. That's when we could very much see some of the rain. Then dries out pretty quickly as we head into the overnight hours. Temperatures stay very warm, though. You saw that by about 9 p.m., 75 degrees still. We drop down to about 70 as we head into the overnight here for Washington, D.C. A few areas like Gaithersburg, even Fredericksburg, still pretty mild. Then as we look at tomorrow, lots of festivities to go about. Of course, you have the golf tournament, you have World Pride, and just the baseball series as well. Temperatures are going to be quite warm out there, mostly in those upper 70s, low to mid 80s still hanging with us, but that comes with the caveat of some rain showers. So as we look at Futurecast, you'll notice rain showers are possible throughout parts of Friday evening, right? Then as we head into the overnight hours, starting to see some rain showers to start off Saturday a little bit on the soggier side. Dries out as we head into the afternoon for some spottier showers still going on. And then going into Sunday, that's where we could see rain showers still making their way in, becoming a little bit more widespread as we head in towards the afternoon hours. Luckily, the second half of the day is going to be on the drier side of things. So not a complete washout, but that cold front that slides through on Saturday is going to help bring temperatures down just a tad bit back into the 70s, but it is going to come with those rain showers, so certainly something to keep in mind. You'll notice the temperature trend going from the mid to even low 80s to the upper 70s, so not a dramatic drop-off, but we rebound quickly as we head in towards the new work week. Temperatures back in towards those 80s. And we actually do dry on out as we start off the new work week with Monday, seeing mostly sunny skies. Also, again, drier is the key thing for that day. Then Tuesday, we do have the chance for a few pop-up showers still possible, maybe a few rumblers as well. So again, we're in summertime. We start to see a lot of that humid air making its way back in. All you just need is a little bit of that warmth to really start getting some of those rain showers popping up once more. So not really too out of the normal. Then as we head in towards Wednesday and Thursday, another stretch of temperatures back into the 80s, slowly clearing on out, especially as we head in towards Thursday, where mostly sunny skies are returning for us. So certainly going to be a fantastic week, especially in the temperature department, where we're sitting well in towards those 80s, Guy. It's going to seem very great out there. I'm excited to finally be able to get out there and use my pool. You know, it's been a while. It opened up Memorial Day weekend, and you couldn't really use it.
Yeah, I'm that bah humbug guy. I never go to my pool. I always go to someone else's.
You go to someone else's. I feel like it's more fun when you get to go to somebody else's, because they treat you to at least maybe a drink, some snacks, things like that, that you don't have to do for others.
And I don't have to be on my best behavior. Caesar with all things weather joining us right here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. Truly appreciate you, my friend. Guys, if you haven't already done so, make sure you download the Fox Local app. You see it right there on your screen. Take out your phone, click on that QR code, and you, my friend, are good to go. Speaking of being on my best behavior, I have to do that just now because we have Kennedy joining us, who happens to be interning this summer right here at Fox 5. You attend American University.
I do attend American University, and I study political science and broadcast journalism.
I got to tell you, she's fitting in already. Right over there happens to be the kitchen, and there are donuts over there. Before we started, she said, "Oh my God, there's donuts." So I got to rush to go get donuts.
Because happy National Donut Day to everybody.
You're going to fit right in. I'm getting a donut too. All right, so we're talking about some of the stories we're following for you, both digitally and on our website, fox5dc.com. This was a story that is flipping around a lot. In this case, I'm referring to DuPont Circle closing for Pride. What's going on with this?
So originally, DC police had requested that DuPont Circle be closed for the Pride ceremony because of concerns of what happened last year. And originally, the Park Service had agreed and they had closed it. They have since rescinded that ask because of the community response, saying DuPont Circle is very important to the LGBTQ+ community, which it is. And now they're saying that DuPont is officially closed for Pride. Pride starting today all the way through Sunday night, and DuPont will not be a part of any of the Pride celebrations this weekend.
Yeah, this is just really sad to think that, you know, we're celebrating all things surrounding this, and folks who want to go in and vandalize it. You talk about a party pooper in a major way.
Yeah, I know. And so a lot of people were saying, well, why don't we just have the kids stay home? And, you know, there's a way for the police to control it. But ultimately, DuPont is controlled by, like, the park police. So they decided that it would be safer to just close it down altogether.
Yeah, there's a lot of back and forth with this. And so if you happen to be like me and you're like, hey, I'm trying to wrap my head around it, just make sure you visit our website, yet again, fox5dc.com. I know you wanted to touch on this, and I'm really excited about this as well. And that happens to be the Washington Spirit game this upcoming Sunday. Do tell.
This Washington Spirit game, they'll be playing the North Carolina Courage to get back into the top 3 in the NWSL standings. They are trying to reach their 3rd NWSL title at the end of the season, which would tie them for the most NWSL wins, NWSL championship wins in history, along with the Portland Thorns. They're being led by superstar Trinity Rodman, as well as Casey Kruger, who just was named to the NWSL Best 11 of this month. They're really on a winning streak now, and some of their players were recently called into the U.S. Women's National Team camp, but they're back and they're ready to play on Sunday.
Yeah, I am a huge fan. It's funny. It wasn't until the Summer Olympics or whatever that was that I started watching women's soccer. I'm a huge fan.
It's great. I highly recommend everybody watch women's soccer. It is so entertaining. The U.S. women specifically are just really on top of their game with their all-new coaches and all-new staff in the NWSL. So I'm very excited to see how this game goes.
You have a favorite player?
I would say either Trinity Rodman or Ashley Hatch. Shout out to Ashley Hatch. I see you.
Trinity Rodman. I was grabbing dinner, I guess about maybe 2 or 3 months ago. I won't say the venue I was at, and I'm looking, I'm like, I kind of recognize that person, and she's looking back, and well, I had my publicist was there, and so he went up to her publicist, and I got a chance to meet her. She was so cool.
One of my favorite things about coming to American was the possibility of being able to see Trinity Rodman in D.C. because she plays for the Washington Spirit. Although there are rumors that she's transferring to a club overseas because of how good she is and how her popularity is exploding. But we here in D.C. want to keep her, so I'm excited to see her.
Yeah. High five going out to her, and high five going out to you. We also know that with the FIFA Cup is what coming here.
Yeah, FIFA Club World Cup will be here this summer, and then the Women's World Cup is being hosted by Brazil and some locations in the U.S. in 2027.
I think it's New York. I looked at that one. I know here in the nation's capital, and then well, I'm always in Miami, and so when I saw Miami, another excuse to go down to Miami.
Another excuse. I'm excited. Those ticket prices are a little crazy, but I'm gonna try to go.
Yeah, good stuff. Kid, is this your first time doing this?
Yes.
Wow, God, she's good. I absolutely, you're coming back. Okay. Kennedy, with all things with regard to what we're following for you on our website, you just got to remember the website. It took me like forever. It's fox5dc.com.
Fox5dc.com.
Yeah, that's how we always end it. And then you can tell folks to check us out digitally as well. Of course, you can't forget to tell them to download the Fox Local app.
Download the Fox and Local app. Yes, I have.
Isn't it really cool?
It's actually really informative. I think Fox 5 DC has the most up-to-date news in the DC area.
And see, she's not paid, guys. She's an intern. She's just saying
download the app
because it happens to be absolutely real. Got any weekend plans, real quick?
This weekend I'll be at the World Pride Festival. I'm so excited. While DuPont is closed, I'm so excited to see Grammy Award-winning rapper Doechii and Wicked star Cynthia Erivo, especially given that the Wicked for Good trailer just came out. So I will be at Pride this whole weekend celebrating those two.
Well, high five. High five going out to you. Did a great job. That's what we do right here at Fox 5. We have the best interns ever. Kennedy joining us right here on the Live Zone. Yet again, for more information, make sure you download the website, fox5dc.com, or go to the website. Better said than done. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Back Monday at 12 noon right here on Fox 5.